I'm going to share some things that I have been giving to my dog. He has had a complete turnaround with pancreatitis and some other health issues. My dog has always been incredibly sensitive to different foods and allergies. So I'm going to share this entire process, what he's taking right now. He's 12 years old, and we have had him since he was 6 weeks old. And I also am in intuitive medicine and a medium and in animal communication. But a lot of this experience, in my understanding, is yes, through a lot of research, but I spent 4 years in school with some of the like pre-med type sciences, anatomy and biology, physiology for humans. Okay. But I, due to my own autoimmune and pancreatitis, had studied and researched extensively into yeast and candida. And that allowed me to understand my dog's allergies because he is completely grain-free. So a lot of the stuff that I am discussing, I of course am not a vet, and we have been to the vet and tests along with what I am sharing. So it is not completely out of the blue. Like it goes together. It's not separate or anything like that. Okay, so except for when it comes to the ear infection, he was getting bloody ear infections the first 9 months of his life. And I mean bloody ear infections every time I went back to the vet. And they wanted to charge us $80 plus $80 for the ear medication. And I'm like, what is it going to take? Like, how come he keeps having bloody ear infections? Do we need to change his diet or something? And they were saying, some dogs are just prone to it. There's not really a lot we can do. Well, because I understood so much about yeast and candida, and that was the cause of his ear infection and his ear itching, I put him on grain-free food. Once I put him on grain-free food, he stopped getting them, and I put him on probiotics also. He never got another ear infection unless he was maybe at his grandpa's at the time, and before his grandpa knew to take it seriously and he gave him a treat or something, he would have a ear infection the very next day. I know if he has grain because he is so sensitive, he will have a full-blown infection by the time he wakes up in the morning, shaking his head, the whole thing. So he can not have grain-free food. It is non-negotiable. Period. So the probiotics are very effective, but when it comes to pancreatitis, enzymes are also non-negotiable if you are sensitive to grain-free food. This is all backed up. You can look this up. This is the brand that I've been getting is a combination of both probiotics and enzymes. But if your dog does have pancreatitis or low immune or things like that, he must have enzymes to help process. Our gut health is a good 85% of our overall health. It's not really any different for dogs when it comes to that. Our diet is very important. So if your dog does have food sensitivities or pancreatitis type things or immune, you would want to get the enzymes. The probiotics also help. To be grain-free means my dog does not have gas. He does not stink at all whatsoever. If a human stops eating grain-free, then they also will no longer have, no more gas. It's the gluten, right? The processed flour and such. That is not good. The thing is with grain-free food, I will get into that as well with the amino acids, but I do first want to share with the turkey tail. Intuitively, before he started really getting a lot of lumps, but before he had the last bout of pancreatitis, I intuitively heard turkey tail one day. I needed to get him turkey tail. And we ended up going with a mushroom blend. I wanted to add turkey tail in addition to the mushroom blend, and I didn't. And he was still getting new lumps. So this is also for the immune system. When you get a turkey tail or a mushroom blend, you want to make sure that they get the testing done to make sure that active ingredients are still in it. I don't remember offhand the active ingredient in turkey tail, but you want to make sure that it's tested for it and that it has it. because, that's really what makes it work. There's a lot that are washed out. This brand, the Real Mushrooms, is the one that we're going with. This is also for immune support and the pancreatitis. When it comes to the pancreatitis and the solar plexus, this is all in the same general area, and synergistically and through the systems work together. Again, you can talk to your vet about it. There's a lot of research about mushrooms and immune support for dogs. I highly recommend the enzymes and the mushrooms or turkey tail if your dog is having immune allergy, rash, if they're very sensitive, or again, the pancreatitis. When it comes to grain-free food, the studies have shown that apparently what dogs with this specific very severe heart disease had in common was grain-free food. If that is so true, what they also found in common with one study and these foods is that they were also using chickpeas and for their protein, for the primary protein. So I have known since the beginning to go with a very high quality protein. And I also add more food, more protein and more vegetables. And I will get into that also. But I have always given him very high quality protein. He was on kangaroo for the majority of his life. However, what the vet told me is that they also need taurine. And I happen to know a lot about the amino acids and that they are the building blocks of protein. So not only for grain-free and heart, and I wasn't supplementing with him at the time, but he lost a lot of weight. When he had this last pancreatitis bout and he had a severe allergic reaction, he had rash, like some weird fungal type rash on his body, on his skin. So the immune system was essential, but so were the amino acids. He lost a lot of weight. And yes, this kind right here, I made sure they do have specifically taurine and a lot of the main really important ones, in addition to B vitamins. So this is the one that I'm trying right now. When I read reviews, they did not have the best reviews. Some of them did not have good things to say. Some of them had great things to say. There are more expensive ones. So far, these are working great. If I notice something wrong, then I'll quit using them and find another one. But I noticed within a few days a difference, not only in his appearance, his energy, and his weight, but I would say he got back to pretty much his full weight, honestly, within maybe 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding. He had a complete turnaround when, with the right things. But I want to say that the amino acids had a major role when it came to gaining his weight and a big part of his visible health back. In addition, again, these are not only the building blocks of the heart. Don't forget the heart is a muscle. So he was not doing well. Like he went through a few months where I was concerned. So this, took some real thought. And again, we did go to the vet and we got the study or the test done, but there was only so much that they could help us with. So Apoquil, we have used in emergency cases. I do not like giving it to him whatsoever. He also does not react well to it. He gets weird. He gets like loopy. And there are several reasons I don't want him to have it. So in emergency cases, if I have to give it to him, right? So it would be useless to treat the outside without treating the inside. The allergies, the itchiness, all that comes from within. All of that comes from the diet for the most part, unless his allergies are caused from external causes, which can also happen. So, of course, the shampoo that I have always used for him was recently discontinued since the last bottle we bought, and he's been using that most of his life. Of course, the companies that are not paying for marketing, or sometimes some of the companies with some of the best products are not the ones that market the most, and they do not sell as much, and then they go off market and they're discontinued or go out of business type of thing. Unfortunately, the best shampoo ever that we've always used for him for sensitive skin and it did help with yeast and fungal also, but it wasn't too strong. It was perfect for him, is no longer made. So this is our first time trying this shampoo type. It does, it's a little more medicated, I think, than the kind I was using previously. I forgot the main ingredient in the last one, but it wasn't this. However, this I think is actually going to do great for any external itchiness because the inside of him is being treated. It might almost be too strong. He might not even need anything like this, but I think he's going to do fine with it. I think this shampoo is going to be great for him, and if not, we'll get something a little more lighter that's maybe not medicated. So when it comes to the grain-free food, the most important thing about chicken and understanding allergies and if your dog is getting sick, this was years ago now. There was a time, and I was in school full time and work, and his human dad was out of town. He got really sick, and he was having liquid, almost bloody liquid, come out of his back end. I went to work, and when I got there, a girl that I worked with, a friend, she said, "Hey, my dog's been having liquid problems, and I just went and got him tested, and he is allergic to chicken." So this might not always be the case. It might not always work like that, but in this particular time, something told me that that was a sign for me, and that my dog, that might have also been the same issue. So, and he had some type of maybe chicken, sweet potato, grain-free food or something at the time. And he had been on that for maybe 2 years. I don't know. He was only a few years old. He was much younger. And so I took him off chicken immediately, and it went away. And I found out after that and have heard hundreds, if not thousands, maybe, of testimonies since then, and have, in addition to reading online, that chicken was causing problems in many different brands of dog food. We all know, it's no surprise or secret that a lot of our food is different now. It's made different. It's not good. And there's weird things happening. My dog has never been able to have beef. So he cannot have chicken. He cannot have beef. He did okay with lamb for a little bit. Then he did okay with duck for maybe a year. We had him on Signature Duck. He did okay. And then he couldn't have that anymore. He started having a reaction. So he was on Signature Kangaroo for the majority of his life. And I know you're supposed to switch up dog food, but we couldn't because he's too sensitive and he can't have any other proteins. So he did great until recently, until this past year. He's over it. So we've been doing very little dry food. He's 12 now. We have always mixed in fresh food with his dry food. From my understanding, you don't want to only do that sometimes and not others. He has always had food made. So what I give him, and I believe I posted a video about the Paka stew that I make him. That's what I named it. And we have always mixed. If you don't make food, you can do like canned green beans. He loves asparagus, carrots, and some peas. Apparently, too many peas are not good. So the Paka stew is carrots, sweet potato, and I don't always recommend potatoes, but I do need more filler for him. So some dogs might not do good with potatoes. We need it. Carrots, sweet potatoes, green beans, celery, and then I will do broccoli and sometimes asparagus. Throw that in the last 5 minutes so it's not too soggy. The rest of it, I'll throw it all in, cook it for maybe up to 15 minutes tops. Throw in 13 minutes maybe even. Throw in the broccoli for the last 5 minutes or the asparagus so it's not too soggy for the last 5 minutes. And then I added fresh parsley at the end. They can also, some dogs, if not all, but some of the seasons that are also supposed to be safe to throw in is rosemary or thyme. I will throw in fresh rosemary or thyme in, but I always do fresh parsley. It's apparently good for their digestive system and their dental health. He did do turkey when he was much younger, dry food. He cannot have that, but he does okay. He does well with ground turkey. So he always has ground turkey and will either cook him eggs or you can make boiled eggs, like a carton of boiled eggs at one time. We pretty much cook up most of his food up for the week at one time. And then we mix it with his dry food when he does have dry food. That's how he has always eaten. Again, he eats very little dry food now. So I hope that this does help anybody whose dogs and are going through sensitivities. And I was going to say, especially pit bulls are incredibly sensitive. I don't know if it is because they have been bred so much, but there are many sensitive dogs. The grain free, I wish I knew this with my prior dogs, but again, you want to talk to your vet about that. The vets do not want dogs to have grain free food. Again, for my dog, it's not optional. So to each your own. I also want to throw in there, grapes are incredibly unhealthy for dogs. They are dangerous. I will give him clean off, fresh asparagus and fresh carrots, sometimes fresh celery, but very little because it's a diuretic. But he gets those for fresh treats and he likes fresh fruit. He likes watermelon and other fruit. You can look up what your dog can have, but grapes, I have read many times where people were saying that their dog has always had grapes and they were fine. But what happens is some other people thought that was okay too, and then they give their dog grapes and it took just one time and they ended up in the ER, sometimes with sudden kidney failure. I did not know this, and I had given my dog grapes in the past, only a few, and he did have some kidney and an infection problem after that on top of it. I do not recommend risking it. I really don't. I know if you've done it already and it's been fine, believe me, look it up. There are plenty of people who will tell you they thought it was okay too. So dogs cannot have grapes. They cannot have garlic or onion or any seasons in their stew. Plain is just fine. Parsley is really the main one I like to add. My dog does well with it. You, of course, want to check and see what your dog likes and is okay with. If this helped anyone's dog, I am so grateful because I love dogs and I want your dogs to feel good too. This has been through many years of going through the motions with my dog and extreme sensitivities. For the most part, he has been extremely healthy, in phenomenal shape, and very good muscle build. And I've always gotten a lot of compliments on how great he looks. I have had great results with all of this. You might want to look at another brand of amino acids. Again, some of the dogs did not do great with it. I don't know if it was the batch they got or if there's something wrong with them, but they're working great for my dog right now. This is the brand of the Digest All. This is the real mushrooms. So when I get his treats, there's one brand of treats I'll share also that I get him for his greenies. Again, most of his treats are fresh food, if not, fresh fruit or vegetables. But I always check to make sure that there's not yeast or grain in them personally. And then we're going to try this out. I guess a lot of vets use this. It seems to work pretty great if your dog gets irritated very easily. And again, I hope this helps your guys' dogs. I hope that they feel better. Or if you have a new puppy and are looking for some of the best care, if you have a new dog, there would be no reason to give him turkey tail. Probiotics, I would recommend. Amino acids maybe when they're older, unless there's a reason or you're on grain-free food. And again, you can confirm and talk to your vet about these things and see what they say about it. Some will say different things. And if I didn't mention, I got paperwork from my vet about heart health and taurine specifically, which made me really happy because I was already on the amino acid. game. Like I was already about it and had already done my own research. So I was really happy that their research finally caught up with it. So that's it. I hope this helps you guys. I will catch you later.